Welcome to the 5 minutes to pass your exam for Advanced Taxation UK. The expectation at this stage is synthesis and evaluation. These requirements are the way you need to communicate and apply your knowledge in the exam. They are a list of verbs that you need to ensure you apply the appropriate response to in your exam question. When presented with the exam question, you should have an easy process on how to convert this into an answer that will get at least 50% of the marks. My suggestions would be 1. Read the question carefully. Take your time in thinking about an approach and solution. If you start writing too quickly, you will miss key points and marks. 2. Be able to explain the tax rules as they apply to a given scenario and not just able to perform them. 3. Make sure you are applying a solution to the scenario. A good way of doing this is making sure that each recommendation or suggestion you make can be tied into an issue identified or highlighted in the case study. If not, it is not relevant to the solution. And 4. Make sure you appreciate all the requirements in each question, as there may be multiple to address. It is important to know what you are facing when going into your exam. Advanced Taxation is a 3-hour 15-minute exam with all compulsory questions. 1 question of 35 marks, 1 question of 25 marks, and 2 questions of 20 marks each. Make yourself familiar with the timing requirements for each solution in an exam and stick to it. Professional skills are key to passing this exam, and you will really benefit from completing the Ethics and Professional Skills module ahead of taking your exam. It is vital to align them with your technical skills. Improve your professional skills by comparing your attempts with model answers. Write down what can be improved and use that as a guide for future questions. The examiner reports for ACCA are very helpful to avoid previous mistakes made by others. Advanced Taxation has a low pass rate, but those who were successful were comprehensive in their answers. But this does not mean they wrote everything about a topic, but applied it to the question. The examiner complimented those students and considered them well-considered answers. With professional marks being so important, and with you haven't got this far, it is a surprise that the examiner is noting that a limited number of questions were well presented. This seems a very basic reason to lose marks and additional professional marks, and could be all the difference at the end. So try to maintain this basic skill set throughout your exam. Some thoughts now about improving your performance. It might seem obvious, but you need to give yourself time to think. You need to consider the scenario given before you start writing an answer and not simply state general tax rules. Each client has their own particular set of circumstances which the tax rules must be applied to. Think before you put pen to paper. Not spending a little time thinking could lead to the point of the question being misunderstood, and answers that have no structures end up muddled, key points missed out on, and repeating the same content over and over again that may not have been correct in the first place. So what about your answers? The reason why these requirements are stated over and over is that although you hear them from many sources time and again, they are part of the reason why students fail exams. Firstly, take some time to read the requirements and think about what they are asking. It is important to refer back regularly to the requirements, constantly checking what you are planning to do is required by the examiner. There may also be some guidance on calculation methods required. Take note of these and follow the instructions. Time management at this stage of the ACCA exam process remains an issue for students, so be time aware throughout and use the timings as mentioned earlier. No exceptions. Don't forget to think and finally use the time efficiently. The sentences you write should be on topic at all times, and if you're trying to provide additional information to show off your knowledge that is not related to the scenario, then don't waste that time and move on to the next requirement. The biggest temptation of an ACCA student is to show off the amount of knowledge you have gleaned from studying, and you are keen to show off to the examiner. They are not interested. Be familiar with the lectures and notes and practice explaining rules in writing. It is often a different outcome of what you think you understand in your head to what you actually put on paper in a logical and understandable way. Don't write off the knowledge from taxation. It is a key tool for this exam, but use of your knowledge must be specific to the scenario provided and the question asked. Otherwise, it is time wasting and getting no marks. So there is the Advanced Taxation UK exam in 5 minutes. Apply this advice throughout your study and use for each question during exam bootcamp, and you'll give yourself a great chance of passing. Remember, nearly 70% of students fail this exam. Don't be one of them. Best of luck.